Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video with Bunny. I'm going to share with you guys a bit of an update. This is some of the riding work that Katie was doing, and it's a little bit of starting to teach her a little bit of contact. You're going to see some jumping, swapping the leads while jumping, and even bridleless towards the end. So lots of things that she's been doing, and it's really kind of neat for me to watch and follow along because I have had Bunny since she was a weanling. So I've had her for a really long time, and now she's turning into a schooled horse that's learning lots of different things. So this is a little bit of the jumping. So that was her changing leads over a jump there. And she still has a lot of muscling to do and balance. So we're doing a little bit of jumping because that can help with getting them to use their core and just figuring out their striding. And it can be good for them to help with the fitness piece. But definitely starting to work on that contact piece. You can see there as Katie came down to a halt softly, trying to get her to start to stretch a little bit more and carry herself a little bit better is a bit of the goal and focus, which I can totally relate because Bunny just had a baby and I know what that's like, and your core just kind of goes a little bit. And so she's got to learn to bring her legs up underneath her, got to deal with that belly a little bit. So the little jumps can help with that because as she comes into the jump, she's got to bring her hind legs up underneath her, and it can help a little bit with all of that. But overall, she's doing really, really well. And we're just doing the little tiny jumps, so it's not asking her to do too much there. And she's willing and she's eager to go over, and she's really handy with her strides. So there she landed on the left and then trying to get her right lead there. Did a little simple change to help figure that out. And when they're learning to jump, mostly just kind of trying to stay straight and stay out of their way and putting the focus on just the real basics, such as which lead to take, like is it the left lead or the right lead, and just making sure the steering and trying to help with the straightness factor in there. So nothing super fancy. If you get too picky in the beginning with, oh, that's too fast or that's too slow, and really all over the place with them, that it can become a little bit overwhelming or a little bit stressful for them, and that can cause horses to start to become a little bit rushy and things like that. So Katie does a great job of just staying out of her way a little bit. And then here's a little look at her going around again, and Katie's asking her to be a little softer in her hand, so putting a little bit of that contact and asking Bunny to just kind of lower her headset just a little bit. So you can see she's got a little bit of a loose rein there, and every so often just picks up a gentle touch, gentle contact. It asks her to just bring her nose down a little bit, stretching, and does really well there. You can see Bunny's trying to figure out the concept. It's a lot to learn and put together all of the different pieces, but Bunny's getting little bits here and there, figuring it out. And learning something new can be, messy. Whenever, it doesn't matter what that is, whether it's for a human or a horse, when you're learning new skills, sometimes it's like, oh, like this is different. And then only asking her to do little pieces and then moving on to do something else. Here's another little jump course going around. So she's got a left lead coming in, focusing on trying to get her a little straighter. And she actually did a right flying lead change before the jump. So she's got a clean flying lead change in there, which is nice. And heads around on her right lead, coming to the next jump. And the goal is for her to land on the right lead. So even though it was a funny takeoff spot there, she still was able to finish with the right lead and keep going around. So she's showing a lot of promise and a lot of willingness to try to figure out the answer. And then here going to the left lead, she got her front end for the flying change. And so Katie just brings her back to a trot to rebalance and settle before trying to continue on. And a lot of that is going to be fitness, straightness, and just kind of getting all the different body parts working together, because the horses need to understand the different cues, but they also need the fitness to do the things that you're asking them to do. Just like with a person, you might in theory know what you're supposed to do in a particular sport or task, but if your body doesn't have the fitness or the balance yet, it's going to be a tricky thing to do for sure. So she's working on all of those little pieces, and here Katie's picking her up into a canter again. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into the training that I don't necessarily show because it would make for a very long video and a very boring video. So instead I just show you little pieces of different things that we're working on. And then that way you get to see her, like there was a left lead to a right lead, and it just took her an extra circle and she was able to get the right lead going just fine. And then here is starting on the right lead and doing the lead change, this time going from the right to the left, and she gets the lead change over the jump. And part of the jumping helps to teach the lead changes as well, because they get that moment of suspension bigger in the air and they're able to swap that lead there. And then that helps them when you take away the jump and you can ask for the lead change, and then they understand a little bit more of what they're supposed to do. So overall, that's going really, really well. And then Kay's just finishing. They're getting a little bit of trot happening, so that way Bunny doesn't think every single time that you finish doing some cantering or some jumping that it's immediately walk and stop. It's good to sometimes go into the trot and trot a little bit, get a little soft, and then you get to walk and stop. And then here's some pretty cool stuff. So this is finishing with some bridleless. This was a fun thing for Katie to try and a neat thing to do because Bunny had never learned bridleless riding before. So this is completely new and different for her to do. There, Bunny got distracted. She was looking out the door because something was happening over there. So Katie does a little turn. So you're going to see a few of her little buttons. Bunny understanding, like this is a forehand turn that she did there. You're going to see her do some things in different directions as well as the same direction, but moving different body parts. So there's a little bit of sideways, her understanding that. And when I'm training horses and when I'm helping people train horses, to me it's really important that we understand and communicate moving the different body parts, so that way things are not just go and whoa, but that they actually understand, okay, this means move your hips and this means move your shoulders, all of the different pieces, because then you can start to put them together a little bit better, and it helps with, you know, whether or not you want a lead change, or it could be something totally different, lets you progress into different things, but also just helps the horse become a little bit more agile and versatile, a little bit more nifty with their feet. So here's a little bit of sideways, going one way and then the other way, doing really, really well there. She's got some nice crossing of the legs. And I would say the biggest thing that Bunny just needs to work on is building up that fitness and that balance to be able to carry herself that little bit better. There's lots of willingness there. There's lots of understanding of lots of the different cues. And it's more just helping her engage her core a little bit more. And that's definitely going to take a little bit of time because she's totally got to lose some of that baby weight going on there in the midsection, which I can totally relate to. So it's going to be a little bit of a process, but it will definitely come. It'll be really neat to see the transformation of Bunny from where she is now to even 6 months from now. She'll probably look even different. All these things just take that little bit of repetition, and pull work and grid work and all of those things will help. And this is kind of cool. This is Katie taking her for a canter bridleless, and that's just how good things have been going and how willing Bunny's been that she felt comfortable trying that with her. And what a neat thing for Katie to finish up on, because this was towards the very end of her doing her internship with me, like being a student with me for a couple months coming over from Poland, and just a really fun way for her to finish out the experience and get to have a really complete full picture of putting the first trots and canters on Bunny, the first jumping, and even that first bridleless ride. So she did a fantastic job with her. And here's just a little finish with trying some obstacles bridleless, which is pretty fun because they didn't warm up doing this with a bridle first. It was just, hey, why don't you see how she does? And of course, Bunny just walks right over, no problem. The steering's going well. The willingness is there. And you can see she definitely gets some cookies along the way to help her stay motivated. So let me know what your favorite part was, and let me know what you think of Bunny and how she's doing. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.